Stina here again. We're going to go ahead and do a workout with some dumbbells. You're also going to want a bench or possibly a footstool, couch, anything that you feel comfortable squatting to depth-wise. And then you're also going to want a mini band for one exercise as well. But other than that, just go with some heavy dumbbells. Have a lighter set on hand if you feel like it's maybe too heavy, but I want you to really challenge yourself on this one with going a little heavier. So we're going to start out with just a warm-up. So I just want you to just stretch out, really open up your chest. Feels really, really good. Arms up, do the same thing. Open up, and then bring your hands behind your back. Open up there, just open up that chest. We sit a lot, so it's good to have the opening of that chest. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take a seat, and we're gonna lay on the floor. We're gonna do first what's called a scorpion. So you're gonna bring your knees up here, and you're gonna rotate, shift. You're gonna bring that foot out. You can have it bent, you can have it straight. And then you're just going to kind of use your abs, just switch, and then go the other way. So just focus on just feeling that stretch through your low back. You can straighten out that leg completely if you want to, or you can just kind of be in a comfortable position. We're just focusing on loosening everything up. That low back gets tight. So just a few more here just to loosen that all up. These feel really good first thing in the morning. All right, then from here, you're gonna bring one leg straight. You're gonna tuck this foot behind, bring the hand onto the knee, and we're gonna do an open book. So you're gonna start from here. You know, you think about a book here, but I like to put a hand here just to keep that knee from rising up and cheating. And then you're just gonna reach, make sure you look with your neck as well. Nice, good stretch here. This is getting your upper back a little bit more. We did the lower back with that scorpion. Now this is getting the upper back and neck. Let's do one more here. Then we're going to switch sides. So go ahead and straighten that leg, tuck this foot behind, and hold that knee down. So make sure you're looking with your neck turning and your eyes following that hand. So you get a good stretch through your neck as well. Sometimes you'll find one side feels tighter. This side is definitely a little more stiff for me. Let's do one more. And it's okay if you can't reach all the way to the floor, just go as far as you can. All right, so go ahead and come on up. You're going to flip over and go sideways here. So we're going to do a lateral leg stretch. So getting that inner thigh sometimes feels really tight. So you're going to have your hands on the floor and go as far as you can where you feel good stretch there, but not too much. Then you're just going to rock back and feel a good stretch in that inner thigh. Go nice and slow on this one. You don't have to go fast. A couple more. And then if you can, you feel good there. Point those toes up to the ceiling, and you're going to rock back again. This is going to get a little bit more into the hamstring, but more of the medial part of the hamstring. So more close to the inner thigh. Feels really, really good there. All right, so go ahead and switch your feet. Put the other foot out and just rock. Nice and gentle. We're just warming everything up. One more here, and then go ahead and point those toes to the ceiling if you feel good there, and go ahead and rock back. Nice and gentle. Should feel a good stretch through there, but not too much. All right, now we're going to go ahead and come into a split pose here. Slide that knee back as far as you can to feel comfortable. Hands are on the inside of your foot, and you're going to do a bit of a cat-cow from this position. And this knee, you can't see it too well, but I'll go from this position. This knee, as I come down, it pops out to the side a little bit. And that is okay. It's giving you that range of motion that we're aiming for with this one. Just a couple more here. Really round out and then come down. Really feel that range of motion. Then from here, I'll move back here. If you want to pop up the knee, you can. Otherwise, you can leave it down. I'm going to pop mine up. You're going to reach through, and then reach up towards the ceiling, following with your head, just like we did in that open book. You should feel really good. You're going to feel that hip flexor on this leg a little bit. Just stretching everything out. All right, from here, you're going to put this hand on the outside now. So you're going to go on the outside. And I just want you to stay in this tall position here. I just want you to focus on pressing down that leg as much as you can to really feel a good stretch through that hamstring. And then you're going to go ahead and come up here onto the tall, onto your knee. You're going to tuck that glute under. You should almost immediately feel a stretch here. And you can hang on to something if you need to, if you feel a little unbalanced here. And then you're going to reach up. You should feel good stretch all the way through your obliques here, and this is your hip flexor muscles go all the way up. So really keeping that glute tight and reach. All right, now we're going to go ahead and do the other side. So this leg forward, this one back as far as you can go. I'm going to round out. Press down, round up, press down. Should feel really, really good here. Couple more. All right, and then from here, go ahead and pop up that knee if you want to, or leave it down. I'll show you with it down this time. You're going to reach under and then reach up. And reach as far as you can underneath. Really go for that range of motion. Do one more up on my toes. Should feel really good there. And again, come into that tall position on that back knee. You're just going to press down. Really stretch out that hamstring. You're only there for a second. Just a tiny little mini stretch. Just warming up the muscle. Letting it know it can go into that full range of motion. And then from here, again, come up, hang on to something if you need it. Then you're going to tuck that glute under. Feel that stretch through the front. And then you're going to reach up. So if you had a footstool or something there, you could hang on to that if you are losing your balance. And then reach. Oh, that feels good. All right, from here, we're actually going to go ahead and do a regular cat-cow. Hands down, knees down. Come up. Feel like you're really lifting up as far as you can here. Full range of motion. And then drop down, head comes up. So let's do a couple here. Nice. Now from here, we're going to work the neck just a little bit. So I want you to think of tucking your chin up. It's like you're making a double chin. So when you're doing it, you're lifting. So I'm going to have you do just a couple where you really pull that chin in. You should feel your back muscles working when you're doing this. So try not to tuck too far so that your head's down. I think just lifting up, making that chin do the glide. And from this position, while you're up in this tucked position, I just want you to look side to side. We're just doing 2 on each side. Takes lots of control there. Now from here, I just want you to look over your shoulder, towards your feet. If you can see your feet, maybe spread them out so you can see them better. You want to look. Is really, really good on that neck there. One more. All right, now from here, we're going to do a bear squat. So just going to work those back muscles again. It's similar to a downward dog, but your knees are bent. So from your knees, you're going to pop up You're gonna put all that stretch into your upper back. So having the knees bent takes it away from the hamstrings, and you're focusing on your upper body. Really getting those arms woke up. Shoulders, back, everything's working. All right, one more here. And come back. Now if you want to, you can straighten out those legs if you need to kind of slide back a little. I'll just do a few really quick, stretch out, and then come down. All right, now we're gonna stand. We're gonna do one more for your back. Just really wanna wake up those muscles. So you come into a hinged position, hips back, hands down here. You're gonna reach them back. You use those back muscles to squeeze. I'm just gonna do 4 of these. Now from here, in this position, you're gonna bring your palms forward like you're pushing water away from you. And then you're gonna lift those hands up towards the ceiling, squeezing those back muscles. Relax it, we're gonna do that one more time. So hands back, palms facing forward like you're pushing something away from you, and then up towards the ceiling, working those back muscles. Shake that out, that feels really good. We're just gonna roll down, we're gonna do a little bit of a deadlift position, so that same hinge we just did. Down, getting those feet wide, you're gonna drop those hips. So you can get into a nice deep squat. And pop the hips up and roll back up. We're gonna do 3 more of those. So you come down, and have those hips at a hinge, drop into those knees. If you need to hang on to something, you can do that too. And then roll back up. So if you're doing that, you could always do something like this where you've got the bar. Sorry for the view. You're gonna hinge and bring into that squat here. And then roll up. So that's an option as well. So one more. And drop those hips. Come back up and roll up. All right, we're gonna get started in the workout. So I want you to grab one weight a little bit heavier. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just start out with activating your core and getting your balance working. So if you need to, you can have something next to you to grab onto if you lose your balance. But what we're gonna do is you're gonna pack that shoulder, roll that shoulder back, keep everything nice and steady. You're gonna hang onto this one weight on one side. What you're gonna do is you're gonna lift one foot, keep that foot flexed, and then draw that knee up. We're gonna do 10 of these. So that's 2, bring it up, really flex that foot, drive that knee as far as you can go. Ooh, and you might lose your balance, so like I said, hang on to something if you need to. That's 4. You can have your hand out too if that helps for balance. 5, 6, I'm going to show this from the side. 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, shake that arm out. We're switching hands. We're going to do the other side now. So again, I'm going to drive up that one knee, and then the next one. So this is 2. And keeping that shoulder packed. Nice and tall posture. Use that balance if you need to. Making sure your core is working. Couple more here. This is 8. Last 2. 9. Really drive up that knee. Also squeeze the glute on the leg that's on the floor. Forgot that part. So that's 10. So yeah, so when you're doing that, you want to think about driving that knee up. But then this leg is having to work extra time, making sure you squeeze that glute so that you get that, that balance is a lot better if you're making sure everything's engaged. All right, so we're going to start with some single leg deadlifts. We're going to do 2 sets of each of these and then do them in a circuit or a superset. So we'll do one, do the other, go back, do that one again, and then move on. So, single leg deadlift. I want you to try to hold 2 weights. If you absolutely can't, You can do 1. So let me real quick show you how we're going to do it. You're going to tap the toe. Here, I'll switch sides. Tap the toe behind you for balance, but all the work is happening in this front leg. So if you're just doing 1, I want it to be on the opposite side of the leg that's doing the work. And you're going to hinge those hips back and come up, squeeze those glutes. But I would like you to try with 2 if you can. So we're going to start, I'll show you from this angle, toe tap behind. We're just doing 10 on each side. So I'm going to go ahead and hinge that hip back, come up, squeeze those glutes. That's 1. 2. Again, really focus on keeping your shoulders packed. You don't want them to pull forward. You want to make sure that you're engaging those back muscles just as much in this as you are your glutes. So from the side, really pushing that hip back like you're shutting a door with your back side. It's all that front leg. We've got 2 more here. Take these nice and slow. You don't want to fly through them. You want to really make sure the muscles are working. All right, we're switching legs now. So go ahead and tap that toe behind. Make sure you're not too close or too far. You want to just be able to just gently tap it and then come into that hinge. So that's 1, 2, and it's okay to bend that knee a little bit at the bottom so you can get closer to the floor, because you want to try to keep your head higher than your hips, or at least level. Squeeze those glutes. I think this is 9 and 10. All right, we're going to go to the floor. If you want lighter weights, you can, but I would challenge you to go as heavy as you can with this, because we're not doing a ton of sets with these. So I like to set them up in between my legs first, so I can use my elbows on my legs to help me get them in position. You're going to have your arms by your side. You're going to come into a bridge for this one. So you're going to squeeze that glutes, or squeeze the glutes, I should say. So you're tucking your pelvis, squeezing the glutes, and then lifting into this position. You don't have to stay there. If you get tired, you can set it down. So we're going to squeeze, we're going to lift. We're going to have both hands up, and we're going to alternate. 1, 1, 2, 2. I like to think about keeping my shoulder blades nice and flat on the floor when I'm doing this. 6. Don't forget to squeeze those glutes. 9. I may have lost count, which is normal. Let's do one more for good measure. And 10. All right, so go ahead and come back up. Set those down and get up off the floor however you need to, and then we're going to go back into those deadlifts. So go ahead and grab your weights and tap the one toe behind. And again, making sure that you're hinging through those hips and squeezing the glutes at the top. All that weight, all the work is happening on that front leg. The back leg's just there for balance. Technically, you could do it with your foot off the floor, and that would be perfectly okay for a single leg deadlift, but I want you to keep that toe down just for a little bit of balance, because I just want to focus on making the muscles work, not so much on trying to balance on one foot. All right, we're switching legs. So go ahead, tap that foot behind, and again, focus on coming down, squeeze those glutes. Again, making sure that your arms, your back muscles are engaged when you're in this bent over position. Those muscles have to work to keep those weights in place. Just gently on either side, making sure you're squeezing those glutes. We got 2 more. Squeeze. Last one. And up. Go ahead and set your weights down. Have a seat on the floor again. Again, grab your weights from the center, using your elbows into your legs to help you get them up. And again, tuck that pelvis. Then lift into that bridge. And then from here, arms up. You can go sideways, you can go, it doesn't really matter. As long as your elbows are coming by your side, not way out here. You want to keep it at less than 90 degrees. So 45-degree angle is probably your best. You don't want it too close, you don't want it way out here, but right there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do this. Making sure those glutes are tight. Remember, your muscles that are working here are your pectoral muscles, so the front of your chest, a little bit into the front of the shoulder. Take your time. Make sure you're nice and slow. I was going a little fast there, kind of bouncing my arm off the floor. You want to make sure that your muscles are working the whole time. You got 1 more on each side. There you go, nice and slow. It's easy sometimes to get into a rhythm of going fast. I want you to slow it down, and that will make your muscles work a whole lot more. Now, we do need a bench or something now, and a mini band. So I'm going to grab my bench here. And what we're going to focus on is squats. So since you have the bench, go ahead and sit on it. And you can, like I said, you can use a footstool, you can use the couch, a chair. Doesn't matter, just as long as it's not too high, because you want to be able to get a good squat in, but at the same time, you don't want it so low that you can't hold it at the bottom. So what we're going to do in this squat, is we will grab the weights in a minute. Once you get your feet in a nice comfortable position, toes are usually slightly pointed out. You're going to focus on pressing. As you come down, you're going to be pressing against that band in your squat. So you can come down, press against. I want you to go ahead and sit and then really engage that pressing against on the way up as well. So go ahead and grab your weight. Again, I would challenge you to try to go a little heavier. We're going to do 2. If you just feel like it's too much, you can always hold it center here as well. So we're going to go ahead and grab these weights. I like to just kind of rest them right on my shoulders, and it's not an arm workout, it's just there to help you to your squat. So from here, press those knees out, sit, and come up. So that's 1. And you can adjust if you find you're sitting and you're just like, oh, that feels a little awkward. Spread the feet wider, bring them in. Whatever feels best to you. And you can totally sit all the way and then come up, or you could just kind of hover, barely touch, and come up, whichever feels best to you. Just want to work those quads, make all those muscles engage. We've got 2 more, so we're doing 12 of these. 1 more. All right, set those down. If you want to, you can just leave the band on. We do not need it for this next set, but it's not going to get in the way. We'll move this back a little. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a bent over row. So you're going to pop those hips back. This actually might help you. And what you're going to do is take your weight. So we're going to alternate. We're going to row here. So one thing I want you to focus on, I'm just going to show you with this one arm, is don't try to get that elbow up as far as you can. What happens is your shoulder rotates forward. Think about bringing it about level with your body and then back down. Your back muscles are doing the work in this. not your triceps. So let's go ahead and hinge over. We're going to do 8 on each side. So down here, you're going to come up. That's 1. 1 on that side. 2. 2. Making sure your abs are tight. Keeping those engaged. Your back muscles should be feeling this. Upper back muscles. If you're feeling it in your lower back, lower the weight that you're doing. Or I will show you in a moment what you can do with the bench. So if that hurts your back, you can always be on the bench here and just do 8 on one side, switch and do 8 on the other. So that is always an option as well. Okay, we are back to squats. I'm actually going to turn this bench sideways so you can see my squat from the side as well. All right, so again, band on the knees. Going to have this up here. Oh, and another note too, the higher up you put the band, the less resistance, the farther down, the more. You want enough resistance here to really make those muscles work, but not so much that you can't spread those knees wide. So we're going to go ahead and do 12 of these again. Just going to sit down and come up. Really focus on pressing against that band with your knees on the way down and on the way up. So you really want to create that resistance with the downward motion and the standing motion. Squeeze those glutes at the top too. Important to make sure you finish completely by engaging all those muscles. I think we have 2 left here. I'm doing 12. My counting is terrible, so I could be wrong. All right. So again, if being on your, you can take this off, being on this position, feet together, doing that row is difficult on your low back. Again, grab the bench and do it from here. Do 8 on one and then 8 on the other. But I'll show you from this angle now. Feet together, hips hinged back in a row. Pay attention to your neck. Make sure you're not dropping it down. You want to keep everything all in line. I'm going to switch and show you here. You don't want your head to drop. You don't want to be way up here either. You want to keep it nice, in a nice straight line from your head to your tailbone. And I think this is 8 right here, possibly 9, so we will stop. Good job. All right, we have one more set with some abs and one more quick burnout for your glutes. So go ahead, and if you have a bench or a footstool that's in the way, go ahead and move it. All right, so we are going to do a hollow hold. I'm going to time this one. You know, there's many options for your hollow hold. I'll real quick give you a rundown of it. So a hollow hold position, you want to think about tucking and then you're lifting. This is your most basic position and you're working these ab muscles right in here. Now to make it more challenging, you can be on your toes, you can alternate which leg is lifted, or you can alternate as you go, or just be out here. I would start here. You can make it more challenging by hands overhead, legs lower, lots of ways to progress it. We're just going to go ahead and start. So I'm going to have you first start on your toes, hands here. Now from here, if that feels good, I want you to start alternating those feet. And make sure you stop where you feel like, okay, I can't go any more progressed, and that is okay. It takes time to build up. Now if you feel good there, do you want to put your legs out? Go ahead and reach, lower them as far as you can. I like to keep my palms up to open up those shoulders, open up the chest. Make sure you're lifting through your abs, not through your neck. Really just reach. Like I said, if you want to get really challenging,
hands overhead, but that's a little too hard for me yet. 3, 2, and 1. Whew, breathe. Go ahead and sit up. You're going to do a side sit-up. I like to do this with the weight, just because of the counterbalance. Sometimes it's easier. But let me real quick show you how it is. You're going to sit back, and then you're going to come up, sit to the other side, and come up. Now you see how that counterweight can help. But if you're really struggling to even come up, don't use the weight. Use your hand to help you come out of this position. It's going to work your obliques. Make sure you come to the top, you squeeze your glutes. So we're going to do 8 on each side, alternating. And again, if for some reason you're struggling, you can even, if you want the weight, if you can't quite come up, you can keep it on one side and just do 8 on one and 8 on the other. So there's lots of options, lots of ways to modify. I'm going to show it from here though. So you're going to sit, you're going to come up, squeeze those glutes, sit, come up, squeeze those glutes. So that's 1 on each side. I love these. They feel so good. If you have shoes on, you might find that you're struggling because shoes just kind of get in the way of this one. But this is a really good indicator of your mobility and your ability to get up off the floor without having to use your hands. It's a very important thing to be able to think about. Because if you were to, say, fall or have surgery on your hand or break your hand and you have to get up off the floor, how are you going to do that if you can't do it without your hands? So just an important thing to think about. All right, set number 2, we're back to that hollow hold. So set your weight out of the way. And yes, those do get your heart rate up. All right. So from here again, I want you to tuck that pelvis, squeeze those abdominals. Then you're going to lift up, reach. Really reach with those hands. They're not just passively there, you're reaching. I'm on my toes, and again, you can start alternating which leg is up, tap one down. Don't forget to breathe. Make sure you're really thinking about keeping your low back flat to the floor, pressing your belly button down into your spine, going down as far as you can. You should really feel these muscles in here working. And then from here, if you want to, go ahead and bring those feet up, really reach, lower those legs as far as you can. You want it to arch, you want it flat. And again, if you want to, hands overhead, more challenging. And go ahead and rest. Whew, hug those knees in for a second. Come on up. We're going to grab that weight. And we're going to go ahead and do those side sit-ups again. So whichever one you decide, whether you're on one side and you do 8 on one, 8 on the other, I will show those this way this time, just so that you can see. So we're going to sit. If you need that hand, press it up, squeeze those glutes. 2, 3, 4. Just like I said, you might find one side more difficult than the other, so sometimes breaking it up this way can be a good indicator of which side maybe needs a little more work. All right, that was 8, I think. So come down, use the hand if you need to. That's 1, 2. Don't forget to squeeze those glutes. 3. I like to use my arm for a little counterbalance. And again, if you need to, use that hand to help you up until you can work up to doing it without. All right, that was 8. All right, our last little burnout, it's called a frog pump. Reason why is your feet are together, your knees are wide, but you're doing a glute bridge. So I am going to use a weight with this, but I'm just going to show you without first. So you're going to land on your back. This is going to be a shorter range of motion. I mean, your glute bridge isn't a huge range of motion to squeeze those glutes anyways. So it might look like I'm barely lifting off the floor, and that's okay. You're going to feel this in your inner thighs too. So you're going to squeeze, tuck that pelvis, and then from there you're going to lift and lower. Keeping that pelvis tucked, lift and lower. You can have your hands right here for a little balance. If you want to add some weight, you can add it right here, right in between those hip bones, not all the way down here, just right about here. And we're going to do 25 of these. So tuck that pelvis, squeeze those glutes, lift. 3, 4, try not to let your legs come in. Keep them wide. The pressure is going to be more on the heels, not on the front of the foot. This is 10. And count down, so this is 10, 9, 8, really squeeze, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You got 5 more. Yes, it's burning. 1, 2, really squeeze those glutes. 3, 4, and 5. Whew. All right, hang out down here. Gonna bring this one knee into your chest. I want you to really stretch out. Feel a stretch through the front of that hip flexor. Then if you can kind of relax that one. I want you to straighten that leg as much as you can here. And flex that foot. Feel a really good stretch through your calf and your hamstring. Go ahead and give it a little tug too. A little more stretch. We're going to cross it over. Bring this foot in behind, or knee in behind this foot, and hug it to your chest. You should be feeling this in your glutes on the bent leg as you pull it in. And you may find you can only go so far, or you feel, if you're really flexible, you can bring it in really far. Just feel a good stretch through there. All right, now we're going to take that leg. We're going to cross that knee over just like we did for that open book at the beginning, but I just want you to reach, and you're just going to lay here for a second and just stretch, looking with your head towards that hand on the floor as well. Get a nice stretch through your neck all the way up your spine. All right, go ahead and come on out of that. I'm going to bring the other knee up now. Tuck that in. Don't really yank on that one. I want you to focus on more stretching out this leg. Go as straight as you can. Should feel a little bit in that hip flexor. Feels really good. And then from here, relax that one and bring this foot up. This is my left leg. And again, you're going to focus on first flexing that foot, feeling that calf, and then pull in a little bit. And yeah, my muscles are shaking. Usually happens when I stretch. All right, relax that. And then go ahead and tuck this knee behind. You can grab over, you can grab through. Doesn't really matter, just whatever feels best to you to bring that leg in. And this side is definitely more flexible than the other, so I can get it in a lot deeper. You should feel stretch here. I even feel it a little on my inner thigh. But just a good mobility stretch. And again, you're going to tuck this foot behind, rotate to the side, and then open up through here as much as you can, looking towards those fingers. Just a nice stretch through everything. Feels really good after those frog pumps at the end. All right, go ahead and sit yourself up. We're going to flip over and we're going to do a child's pose. So go ahead, I like to spread my knees for this one, feet together, and then really reach up with those hands. Keep them active as you try to bring your tailbone or your glutes down to your heels as you're reaching up. So you should feel a nice stretch through your upper back. Relax that neck, put your forehead on the floor. And then from here, I want you to shoot one arm under, palm facing up. I like to look away from that hand. Feel a really good stretch through my back and my shoulders. And again, trying to get those glutes down towards your heel as well. And go ahead and switch sides. Push that hand under, palm facing up. Sit back and then lean, or turn your head the opposite way from that hand that's stretching through. You should feel a nice stretch through your shoulders. And go ahead and come on up. Just sit here. Open up through the chest. So putting your palms back behind, you're clasping your hands, trying to bring your palms together behind your back as you open up through the chest. Really relax. You can even kind of go side to side with your neck if that feels good. All right, we're going to stretch the hands. So you can go like this, or if it's easier, just palms on the floor. So your palms are like this, just set them down. And then sit back a little, feel a good stretch through there. Or you can link them and do it this way. It's a little deeper stretch that way, whichever feels best to you. Now we're gonna, from the side, I want you to put your palms facing up this way, and then you're gonna sit back just as far as you can, where you feel a stretch along the front of the arm. And then from that position, if you can, try to make a little grip. Can't get super far, but it feels really good. Stretches out the tops of those wrists. All right, shake that out. Have a seat. We're gonna real quick get those hip flexors and then your neck. So again, I like to tuck behind here and then just lean back. You should feel a good stretch through your quad, but if that does not feel good for you, you can come up here and do that stretch we did at the beginning, where you're feeling your hip flexor here. Or if you'd rather stand, do something for balance, you can grab behind and do this one as well. It really doesn't matter, just want to stretch out that hip flexor and just wanted to give you some options. So I'm going to come back down and do the other side. So again, I'm tucking this foot behind. This foot can be out or in, that part doesn't matter. You're just leaning back onto the elbow of the opposite arm, opposite side. And you're just stretching. I like to squeeze that glute. Anytime I'm stretching my hip flexors, I focus on that hip tuck and squeezing that glute so that I get the most out of that stretch. All right, bring it around, have a seat. Once you keep your abs tight, sit nice and tall. Put your hands behind your head. You're just going to tuck your chin and look towards the floor. Just a gentle pull. You don't want to go crazy with this. So just gently. You might feel it all the way down your spine. Keeping those abs in tight. And then from here, keeping your hands right where they are, cradle your head. And I want you to tip up. You should feel a nice stretch through here. Sometimes I like to tilt one way and then the other way, just to get a little bit more in there. Now go ahead and release that. We're going to put one hand on your cheek here, on your cheekbone. I like to put it right there because it's a nice solid spot. You're just going to turn your head to the side and look over your shoulder. Again, still sitting tall, abs tight. And switch to the other side. Look with your eyes over your shoulder. It feels really, really good. And the last one here, I want you to put your hand here on your shoulder and really make sure that you're not hiking it up. Bring it down. I like to just relax my arm out to the side. Even just doing this, I feel tension through that arm. And then from here, if you feel comfortable, tilt that head away. You can find whichever angle feels best to you, a little more forward, a little more back. Feel that stretch. If you're not feeling much through there, you can always kind of anchor right below your ear and add a little extra pull into that stretch. Switch the other side. Again, drop that shoulder, lean the head away. If that feels all right, you can just hang out there or anchor under your ear and tilt onto the other side. That feels really, really good there. Releases a lot of tension. Just do a couple neck rotations each way. Hands behind your back. One more time like we did before. Sitting here, open up that chest, and go ahead, rock yourself back onto your heels. We're just gonna go ahead and stretch up. Just do a couple of these, because these feel really, really good on the backs of those legs. Last one. You're gonna roll yourself up. Once you reach up tall, look forward, and you're done. Good job.